What's up, everybody? This is the Greatness Coach, Chris Johnson. I think that one thing we all have in common is that all of us want to be great. I'm here today to coach you to be great. This is the Greatness Coach on the Greatness Show. Let's do it. I think the first thing we have to do is start at a definition of greatness. I think all of us wake up every day, and I think we aspire to be great. So let's do that in this session. Let's do that. I want to thank everybody who's streaming in with us and all the guests who are here today. By definition, greatness, and you can feel free to take notes on your handouts there. By definition, greatness means notable, remarkable, or exceptionally outstanding. One writer says it is reaching a high level of mastery. And I think that's what we should be aiming for in our own lives, that we become masters of our own lives. I want to reach a level to where I live life with mastery. And just a few quotes. Business coach James Ray says this. He says, true greatness is the ability to achieve what you choose to achieve in the area you choose to achieve it, and to achieve it with excellence and a level of mastery. There's that word mastery again. Shakespeare said this, be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. Right? Here's another quote that you would recognize. Dr. Martin Luther King says this, not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great, because greatness is determined by service. I agree with the sentiments of Dr. King. Everyone can be great. That is my mantra. I believe everyone can be great. Notice I didn't say everyone will be, because not everyone will apply the principles of greatness to their lives. Some of the best NBA players don't even play in the NBA. Some of the best NFL players didn't make it to the NFL. Some of the best business executives are not operating in business because they have not applied what it takes. In his book, Talent is Never Enough, John Maxwell speaks to that principle. He says that talent alone is never enough. It takes something extra to achieve success and to achieve greatness. So as we look at that particular model of greatness, I think everyone can be. I think everyone can be great if you apply those principles to your lives. And speaking of those principles, I believe that we should not aspire to be great on the measurements of other people, because what other people are great at, I might not be great at. They have various gifts and talents. I may be talented in another area. So it is unwise. The Bible even speaks of that. It's unwise to compare yourselves one to another. And you can't measure your greatness on what other people have achieved and what other people have, because I've not been gifted with the same amount of giftedness as someone else. So what I'm looking for is mastery in my own life, being the best me I can be. If I'm competing against anyone, I'm competing against myself. At the end of your life, you want to be able to go back to the one who sent you here, the one who created you, and the one who made you, and say, I have accomplished what you've put me on this planet to accomplish. I've become the best version of me I can be. How many of you want to be the best version of yourself? I want to be the best version of me I can be. I believe that this happens. There's three really components that you can measure that. Three components you can measure that. And I'm going to write these down. Here's your three measurements. Three measurements. When we talk about being the best me, right? The best version of myself. First of all, let's talk about me. Okay? It starts with me, or that sense of identity. Okay? That level of me-ness. That's what we're looking at. Michael Stawicki says in his book, Know Yourself Like Your Success Depends on It. He says that success is actually predicated on how well you know you. Many people wake up on a daily basis and have struggles with their identity. Many people wake up and they don't know what's in them, what their strengths are, what their weakness is, what makes them tick, what their core values are. We're going to talk about some of that here in a minute. And when you don't know yourself, it is difficult to know purpose, because I believe you can't chase purpose and identity at the same time. I believe you have to know who you are, right? You have to know what you have been sent here to do for sure, but you have to know who's going to do it, right? Raise your hand. Who wants to be great today, right? So the question that you have to ask is, who will be great? What do I name that person? How do I describe that person, right? Whether I'm a father, whether I'm a businessman or businesswoman, or I'm a mother, a teacher, describe that person. If you're not careful, if you chase purpose before identity, when you start doing things and getting busy on your way to fulfillment, what happens is you begin to define yourself by what you do, right? So you want to always make sure you establish identity first, okay? That's that meanness. Here's the second level of measurement. When it comes to being the best version of myself, my second level is my mission. It's my mission, okay? And that speaks to the regards of, why am I here? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Okay? What is my purpose for living? What is my purpose for life? In a recent Gallup poll, watch this, what it says is that 60% of Americans wake up with no sense of purpose about their day or their life. 60% of people wake up with no sense of purpose about their day or their lives. That means that the other 40% have figured it out. Do you want to be on that 40% or that 60%? Do you want to wake up with a sense of purpose, knowing that my day is intentional? I'm living on purpose, right? John Maxwell writes a book called Intentional Living. I'm living on purpose. I know what it is I'm aiming at this day. There's a course that I'm going to be offering on my website called Have a Great Day, right? That you wake up every day intentionally, looking at your day, structuring out your day, knowing that this day will be on purpose. That's what I want to live. I want to live every day knowing that I'm purposely aiming at every minute, every hour, right? You don't have many of them. And if you sleep for 8 hours, you're already down to 16. So, and then if you're going to work and you work another 8 hours, there's another 16, right? And so I don't have many left. So how do I take advantage of every minute, every hour of every day? That's living a life on purpose. That's living intentionally. That third level of measurement is meaning. Meaning, okay? Meaning. It goes a little deeper. It has to deal with fulfillment, right? I'm living fulfilled. Like, I wake up and I really feel good about where I'm at in life, about what I'm doing in life, right? I have a peace and contentment about my life. Like, even if I don't do anything else, I'm content doing what I'm doing. I have a peace about the season or the area of life that I'm in, what I'm engaged in, right? Listen to this. There are 900 million people in 142 countries who are unfulfilled with what they do in life, according to a Gallup poll. Another Gallup poll says this: in the United States alone, 70% of people working are unhappy and don't care for what they do. That means that only 30% of people wake up every day fulfilled and love what they do. 70% of people wake up every day at a job they really don't want to be at, doing something they really are tired of doing because they're not fulfilled in life. And the worst feeling in the world is to get to that stage in life in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s and say, hey, I'm doing something I really don't want to do. There's so much more to life than this that I'm not living, and I really want to step into something else, right? I believe those are the measurements. If you want the best version of yourself, okay? If you want to be in greatness, and if you want a best version of yourself, you have to come to grips with who you are, that meanness. You have to know your mission, right? Or your purpose in life. And then you have to establish meaning in your life. I believe that the best version of yourself, you have to attach yourself to a coach. That's what I'm here for, a coach. What is a coach? Comes from a word, the root word that speaks of a covered carriage that takes people of importance from where they are to where they want to be. You want to be the best version of yourself. You want to be great. And sometimes, most of the times, you need a coach. You need someone to help you get there. Business coach Michael Burt says this, that a good coach finds missing structures in your life. Something's missing, that there's a gap between where you want to be and where you are today. And sometimes you need an extra push. You need a coach. You need someone to see in you what maybe you don't see in this life, to find the missing structures, to pull it all together, connect the dots, and get you on a path to fulfillment. And that's why I'm here. I exist to motivate you toward greatness and to push you toward purpose. I'm clear on that. And that's what a coach does. Okay, so let's dive in. I want to start talking some coaching techniques. First of all, let me unpack my greatness model for you, because I believe that if you're going to be great, that you have to do it on the basis of this model. Okay, the G in the greatness model stands for growth. Okay, it stands for growth, and I'll unpack this in another session more in-depthly, but the G stands for growth, which means that everyone who does anything great, whether it be an athlete, whether it be a business executive, a teacher, a professional, is committed to growth, right? Is committed. One of the beautiful things that I'm watching is LeBron James. I remember when he came into the league, I mean, he was really, really athletic, taking it to the hole. He had some limitations in his game as far as jump shots and three-pointers, but now what you're seeing in the 15th year of his career, and he's shooting jump shots. And in the offseason, he's going to get coached by Hakeem Olajuwon and some likes of those kind of people. So here is a man who will probably go down in the history books, arguably one of, if not the greatest NBA player in NBA history. But every year in the offseason, he chooses to find a coach because there's some level he wants to grow, right? Because greatness always grows. So the G stands for growth. Then the R stands for reputation. Reputation. Let's stay with LeBron James. He's got a reputation, right? There's something that precedes him, that follows him. He walks in the gym, everybody, you get a little uptight, right? LeBron is here because his reputation. He's put in a body of work. You can track his history. And so he is known by the work that he has done. He has a reputation. And so every day, great people do something to establish their reputation in what they do, okay? The E stands for effectiveness. Effectiveness. Great people always seek to be effective in what they do. Seek to be effective in what they do, right? T.D. Jakes said this in one interview. Someone asked him, did you ever see yourself being this business entrepreneur mind, this pastor, this great leader, this great historical figure in the time that we live in? And he said, no, I never asked God to be rich. I never asked God to be successful. He said, I asked the Lord, just make me effective. If I can be effective, if I can change someone's life, if I can do something to make a difference in the world, just make me effective, because he dedicated his life to being effective. God then blessed him or allowed him to be economically empowered and then being in a position of influence to empower someone else. So our desire should be to be effective. Then the A speaks of my attitude. My attitude. How I think, my mind, my demeanor, my disposition. People who are great never buckle under pressure. The great ones always say, give me the ball when the game is on the line. The great ones love the pressure of performance, right? It is how they approach life. You know, when you walk in greatness, you're not bothered by, the scrutiny and the pains of life and the criticisms and, because your attitude is such that there's always a level to get better. And I take the criticisms as well as I do the comforts, okay? And then the T, here's the T of the motto. Toughness. Toughness. To reference Bishop Jakes again, he was just recently doing a tour on his new book that had just come out. And he was on stage with Pastor Stephen Furtick. And he asked him, he says, how do you handle when people are scandalizing your name and people are, he said, what do you think it takes? Do you get bothered by it? What is it that keeps you going? And Bishop Jason, how he is with his voice, he sits up in his chair and he said, I just think people just aren't tough enough. And that's what it is. Greatness is tough, right? To reference basketball, again, remember Michael Jordan, that historical game that he played with the flu. Man, that's exhibiting a certain level of toughness that you can endure that. There are some times where you don't feel like doing it. You got to be tough enough, right? Whether it's a business that you're trying to launch, a dream you're trying to bring into fulfillment or manifestation, you got to be tough enough on those days you don't feel like it. My good friend, Bishop John Pace, who is also an entrepreneur and a coach in his own regard, I heard him the other day, and he was talking about how you're going to be a boss. You're going to have a boss in every season of your life. Those who even want to be entrepreneurs, if you're not the employee, even if you become self-employed, you become employed by the ones who buy your product. And so because you want to put out a good product, you're now ready to service those who are spending money. So in some sense, they're still your boss, right? So you're going to have a boss in no matter what level. Every level of promotion, there's something or someone you're going to have to answer to, right? And so what you have to exhibit is a certain level of toughness. And that's what it takes to be great. You just got to be tough. Everybody feel that? Now that you know the model, let's get to some coaching, all right? Let's look at our notes here. And I want you to begin to feel that. I want to coach you through these next 10 minutes. I want to coach you through this meanness, identity, discovering who you are. Discovering who you are. In a sentence, and if you can't get to it all today, you can take this home, because in our next coaching session, we'll come back and discuss this in its entirety. Describe yourself. Describe yourself. You should have a description of you before you sell you to someone else. You have to know who you are. If you approached your life as if your life was a website, what is your About Me page? Can you describe yourself in 30 seconds to anyone? That's how well you should be familiar with you. You should be comfortable with you. What is your identity? Who are you? Okay? Then I want you to be real with yourself. I want you to be real with yourself as you're writing. What are your strengths? That's the next question. What are your strengths? You see, many times we spend so much time trying to work on areas we're weak at, we don't appreciate or we undervalue our strengths. We think about what could be better. We think about what is going wrong. We don't value what's going right. We don't value what we do well. I want to coach you today to begin to value your strengths. What is it that you do well? It is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is appreciation. I appreciate the fact that God has endowed me with a certain level of giftedness in this area. He's allowed me to acquire a certain level of skill in this area. I do this well. These are my strengths. Your strengths could be listening. I listen well, right? This is so crucially important to you taking steps toward greatness. Because you need to understand, as you progress on this journey of greatness, you need to understand who you are, how far you will go, your breaking points, your limits. Then I want you to describe your weaknesses. Okay, now these are the things I don't do so well. Why is it important to know your weaknesses? Because you need to know your weaknesses, as I imagine LeBron did, so that you can work on those to bring your weaknesses to the level of your strengths. What are my weaknesses? If you are not real with yourselves, someone else will be real with you and you'll get offended. It is easier for you to just be real with yourself, be your biggest critic. I just don't do this well. I'm not good at that. It could be managing money. It could be time management. It could be I love too hard, too quickly. Whatever your weakness is, describe your weakness. Describe your weakness. Then I want you to think about this at the very core of who you are. What are my core values / standards? Do I even have any? What are the things, the bedrock principles of my life that makes me who I am? It is the core. Because as I build relationships and I partner and I network with people along life's journey, if I'm not sure on those bedrock principles, it is easy for me to take on things that are not at the center or core of who I am. People can change me. I can get lost in others' identities, right? If I'm not sure. And many times, you know what your beliefs are, you know what your standards are, but this is why you have a coach, because you need someone to help you structure it and package it up to where you can easily explain it. And this is my job, is not to give you something new, but to help you discover. To help you discover some things about you. To help you write it in a way that you can communicate it to yourself and others. Then I want you to think about this. How many of you would say you're happy in life right now? Just by show of hands. Yeah. You're happy. You're happy. You're happy. Yeah. So let's take that question a step. Are you happy? That's one. But then what makes you happy? What makes you happy? Is it life? Is it, I like my job. I'm making decent money. I'm doing what I love to do. My kids, my spouse, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Let's talk about this meanness. Let's finish this meanness part up. The next question I want you to, and if you don't get to answering it all today, that's fine. I'm just going over this, is on that last section, are you emotionally healthy? Are you emotionally healthy? Peter Scazzaro writes a good book. He says that it is impossible to be spiritually mature and emotionally immature. They are closely connected. That your spirituality and your emotional being, your emotional self is closely connected. Some of us are very spiritual, but we fail emotionally, right? I can give you countless of Bible characters that were spiritual giants, but they were emotionally deficient, right? That's your identity. That's your identity. You have to know you. Okay? I told you in those three areas of measurement, is number 2, the mission. Your mission. How many of you say you know your purpose in life? Show of hands. 3, half of you? Half of you? A little over half. What? Half of you. That means that in any given room, that's a good, we just learned that about 70% of people wake up and don't really have a purpose to their life. They don't know, right? So if you know your purpose, write it. It should be in a statement like this. I exist to. I exist to, I just told you mine. I exist to motivate you to be great and to push you to pursue purpose. I do that. I do that in several different ways. I do that right now while I'm coaching you. I do that every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. I'm motivating people through the Word of God to be great and to push them to realize their purpose in life, right? I do that in my home as a father. I do that as a husband. I love motivating people and pushing them to purpose. That's why I'm here. I exist to do that. God placed me on this planet to do that. If you're around me more than 5 minutes, you'll be inspired to do something. I'm sure on that. I'm not sure about anything else in this life. I'm sure on that. You have to know your purpose just like that. You have to be able to say, I exist to do this. Okay? Is this helping anybody? I exist, right? Then I want you to think about this. Are you living in or on purpose? Is every day your actions, your attitudes, do they exemplify what you just wrote is your purpose? Are you doing right now what your purpose statement says? I'm walking in purpose at this very moment. Why? Because I'm motivating you to be great, pushing you toward purpose. I'm in purpose, okay? I'm trying to help you find that for your own life. If you cannot answer that question, this is where you're going to take this sheet home and you're going to begin to think about that. I'm going to send you some follow-up emails to help you, guide you through that whole process. Here's a question. It was Howard Thurman who says this: what the world needs is those who have come alive. What makes you come alive? What 1 or 2 or 3 things that you do, you just come alive? Some of you maybe be introverts, or you're not very talkative. Some of you are very loquacious. You can talk with the best of them. But for the quiet people, yeah, you're quiet until somebody talks about something you want to talk about. You're quiet until someone hits the nerve that you're interested in, because something makes you come alive. You're streaming in right now. What makes you come alive? What is that one thing that you do that brings energy to your life? And it's like, wow, I hit another gear. Something else just happened. If you can discover that, you're steps closer to discovering what your purpose in life is. There should be something that makes you come alive. Here it is. What problem or problems can you solve? Think about that. What problems can you solve? My mentor, Coach Michael Burt, says this: money is exchange. Money changes hands when you solve problems. If you solve people's problems, they'll pay you to do it. What problem will you solve in this life, in this community, in this state, in this world? There's problems. Which one of them will you solve? Which one have you been? Is it complacency? Okay, well, my purpose is to solve the problem of complacency. Cool. How can somebody pay you to do it? Is it teenage pregnancy? I can't stand seeing young women fall prey to teenage pregnancy. Cool. How are you going to solve it? What problem? Think about that very clearly and be able to describe that. What problem will you solve? Let's finish this up, and then we'll go to another coaching session, and we have some testimonials we're going to do here in a minute. What would you need to solve their problem? If you think about that, if you were actually able to walk in your purpose, what would you need? What materials? What resources? What would you need to solve those problems? You got to begin to think about that before you have the opportunity to do it. Opportunities come when you prepare. This is our launch today, and I've already gotten 2 speaking engagements as the greatness coach just in preparation. This is the launch. I've gotten 2 engagements in preparation of the launch because opportunities come when you prepare. What are you preparing for right now? If you're not doing anything, if you're not preparing for anything, you won't have opportunities. Opportunities come when you're in preparation. Listen, I'm out of time, but I'm not out of message. Those of you who want to get more coaching, you can visit me at www.cajohnson.org. I'm thankful for everyone who came to our live sessions. As a matter of fact, everybody who's here today, I'm going to offer them the next 4 sessions of our coaching for free. On Tuesday nights, we're streaming in. I can't wait to coach you to be great. I'm the greatness coach, Chris Johnson, coaching you to be great. I believe everybody can be great. Yes, including you. God bless you. Well, hello, beloved. This is Bishop J, Lady T. Baby, it's here again.
That's right. Marriage Camp 2018, backed by popular demand.
Listen, we're so excited that this year, 2018, we're having Marriage Camp. Go ahead and set your date. September the 7th through the 9th. Here it is. We're going to Fort Walton Beach, Florida. We're gonna be at the Hilton Garden Inn. And I cannot wait because we have some awesome things planned for the couples coming in.
Yes, we do. We have games, we have vow renewals, we have everything planned. We just need you.
We just need you there to come to Marriage Camp 2018. Listen, our theme for Marriage Camp this year is Built to Last. We want to share with you some strategies, some plans, some techniques on how you can build your marriage to last the test of time, any kind of storm, any kind of trial. Baby, we've got to get them to build it to last.
We got to get you there. So what you need to do is go on the website, www.thisiszion.org, and look up Marriage Camp.
Marriage Camp 2018. You can also visit us on our Facebook page, Marriage Camp. Just search it in your search engine and it will pop right up. You go to our website, as Lady T just said, and I promise you, you're going to be excited about what you read and what you see. Details are there. Please make sure you read the camp registration in its entirety before you register and before you pay. But we cannot wait to see you.